All right, welcome to the next episode. One of the more exciting episodes, I guess, because we are starting to attach all the decking. This is kind of like the part where once we start installing this, you'll start to get to the point where we're starting to see the finished product, which is the exciting part for me, because it's the part where you get to walk inside the boat and you're not walking across stringers, you're not walking on stringers. And although I will miss being able to see all the Kevlar underneath, it's okay, we'll have plenty of Kevlar on top, and you'll know what I mean as we start to get closer towards covering all this marine grade plywood. You'll maybe or maybe not be surprised what we end up using to cover the entire top. And yes, it's all going to be Kevlar. There's going to be so much Kevlar on top of this, it's going to blow your mind. So stay tuned for that episode. This whole entire deck is going to look like one huge yellow glob, and it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. Just going to tell you right now. All right, so anyway, where do we start? First, we want to mark where all the stringers are. Try to be as center as you can, because what will happen is we start to mark down the line of the stringers towards the other end. If you're off, you're going to start missing these screws all the way down, and it's not going to be pretty. It'll be a tough fix, in fact, because we're going to probably put a screw every 6 inches, maybe a foot, I don't know. We'll take a look. I'm thinking every 6 inches. I've got quite a lot. I think it's like 5 pounds. Yeah. So I got all the screws in the world. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I'd rather this thing be super strong than have a weak point. So anyway, enough. So let's talk about how and what we're gonna use these for. So we need to create a bond between this piece and that piece. The only exception is going to be where the ski locker is. I'm actually going to go underneath and put Kevlar under there. But you'll see what I did here, and it's going to vary for your application, is we've got a 10-inch by 4 piece of 3/4 inch marine grade plywood. What we'll do is we are going to stick that under there, line it up, put our clamps in place, kind of center it the best you can. We'll put a series of screws over here, then a series of screws on this side, and this will be physically what mechanically bonds these two pieces together. It gives it a little bit more strength. All right, and you can see we got 4. One for right there. Nothing for the ski locker, although if I do change my mind and decide we want to put something there, we can always get there, because there'll be a ski locker there, and then 2 over there. We'll repeat the process down the line, but it's kind of important, like I said here, make sure these lines are perfect, because we're going to end up using those to run stainless steel screws all the way down, and you don't want to mess that up. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take my first piece, clamp it in place, and start throwing some screws in there. Okay. Kind of took a little bit of patience here, but we got the clamps there, and like I said, I'll probably run 3 screws down there, maybe 4, and we'll get one side of it started, and then we'll slide it and then bond this piece. Okay, and you can see the finished product here. We did end up going with 4 screws. You may be curious of whether or not you need to snip off the screws at the bottom. I have worked on some boats where I did the same method before, and you got to be careful too, because sometimes these screws may be getting pretty close to the bottom of the hole. So keep that in mind. Maybe run your fingers under there. If it's getting pretty close, then go ahead and take them out, and then snip off the bottom of it and throw them back in, because you don't want it to poke through the bottom of the hole as it flexes, because there may be a little bit of flex at the bottom. I'm about 1 inch away from the floor at any given spot on these, so if it flexes that much, we're in big trouble. So anyway, that one's good. Let's go ahead and get the other 3 knocked out, and then we'll slide this piece of wood over here in place. All right, so there you go. Like I said, we didn't put anything on the ski locker on purpose because we are going to Kevlar underneath it, and obviously with those smaller areas you won't be able to Kevlar under there because there's just, simply put, no way to access it once the floor is in place. So we got a total of 4 screws on each jointing piece there. It's going to give it plenty of strength. So what we've done here is we marked everything where it needs to be. Likely what I'm going to do next is I'm going to run a screw directly in the center. I know I have the black mark. As I was thinking about it, I'm going to be snapping a line anyway down this. It's the easiest way to do it versus using a straight edge. And this way I can double check and make sure that the screw that I put in there temporarily will be right on. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and put that screw in place on all 4 stringers and continue here. All right, everything's in place. Go ahead and set it down and slid it perfectly in place. Now you can kind of see where we got a boatload of screws on that one side, but we do have our 4 screws sticking up, as well as our stringers now exposed times 4. So this is where the string line comes into play. What I'm going to do first and foremost is I will go ahead and hook on to that first screw with this, and we'll snap a line, making sure it is perfectly in line here. Snap it, snap this one, and we'll have 4 little marks here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, you can kind of see the lines are a little faint. It's not a bad idea, because what ends up happening is I like to try to rub this off afterwards, because this red mark, you can actually see it after the glass is installed, and it looks kind of, I don't know, it's just not my style. I like to have it one continuous look. If you're painting it afterwards, it doesn't really matter. And I know I'm like really nitpicking here, but you'll be able to see it afterwards. And believe it or not, I'm gonna leave this. I'm not actually gonna paint it at all. It'll just have the Kevlar faced on top, and you'll be able to see all of it underneath. It'll be kind of neat. Kind of a different style, but that's what I'm kind of going with here. Anyway, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna probably sink a screw about 1 inch away here, and probably sink one roughly in the middle, just to make sure the angles look good. Maybe take a peek underneath and make sure I caught it and they're not sticking out the side. I don't imagine it's going to be an issue, but just, you know, double check now while you can see underneath it, because once you start running these all the way down, you won't be able to catch it. So anyway, let's go ahead and do that. One other thing I forgot to mention is on those stringers, if you like, you can also run some PL Marine along the edge of the stringers, and what it does is it just kind of helps bond the stringer to the plywood a little bit more underneath. I'm going to do it myself. I forgot to mention that, but I figured I throw this in the video real quick so you can kind of see it. But basically what we're going to do is just run a line of bead of this type of adhesive sealant, marine grade of course, all the way down the stringer, and we'll go ahead and then secure it with the screws. Welcome back, everybody. This episode we're going to get into the flooring a little bit more in detail. You can see I tried to put the screws every 6 inches along the snap line. We started off with one about 1 inch from the edge, and then I just kept with the every 6 inch. You can see over here, same thing, every 6 inches, all the way down. And now, as we finish off the rest of the flooring, we're going to obviously work towards covering the flooring that covers the fuel tank. That's going to be kind of important. There's some things to note, which if you don't have a fuel cell under the floor, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. I've done a boat before where it didn't have the fuel cell underneath the floor, and it makes life so much easier. You can just turn and burn, so to speak, with getting the flooring put on and not having to worry about what's underneath, other than foam and whatnot. So we had to take some special precaution here to make sure we knew where the stringers were in the bulkhead. So off camera, what I did was I traced the line, and then I put some screws in there to make sure, and then pulled the flooring off to make sure it was actually in the right spot, and these are dead on. So we can actually run screws on this first bulkhead for the ski locker, no problem. And you can see here we have a seam along this edge, and like I said before, there's going to be a ski locker in here. I just need to figure out exactly where I'm going to put it, and then I'll come back afterwards and either do a Kevlar on the bottom and top, or I may run like that 3/4 inch plywood, that mechanical joint across here. I just haven't figured out what I'm going to do. Yeah, and it'll change, and I'll have access to all this once we cut the hole in this area. It was also brought to my attention earlier, is one of my subscribers was talking about this being a bad idea with not making the fuel tank accessible. And as we kind of talked about in our prior episode, if you had cracks in your fuel cell, or you didn't have the ability to have the service little hole, so to speak, cut out, then yeah, you're going to be in some trouble. If you at least have access to where the hoses connect and you can pull the fuel sender out, I think that's going to be good enough. What I will do is I'll make some black marks all the way across here, and then I'll have screws every 6 inches. In the future, if for whatever reason I do need to service the fuel cell, you can just set a circular saw to 1/2 inch and just basically just trace, with your circular saw all the way along. This would be the center, so maybe add like another 1/2 inch over here. And if we know this is the center and we add 1/2 inch to the side and we set that circular saw and we actually cut along the edge, you can actually service this fuel cell later on. I'm not planning on painting the floor anyway, so you'll be able to see all the screws. The other reason I want this to be one continuous piece is it's stronger that way and less likely to allow for any kind of rot that would, basically the water would be rushing along the edge here and then get into these seams. I'm just not interested in it. Really not. I don't think we're going to have any issues. That fuel cell is welded in a really strong way. I tell you what, I have all the confidence in the world in it, so not too worried about it. But yeah, just keep that in mind. The subscriber mentioned making this serviceable. I do, and I have seen boats where the fuel cell is serviceable. Just keep it up to, it's kind of up to you in your situation. If you've got a little bit different scenario, you may actually want to make it serviceable. But for this one, not worried about it at all. Like I said, that fuel tank ain't going nowhere. So anyway, let's talk about what we got here now. Alright, so now for the next part. There's a few different ways to do this, but basically you need to have access to the fittings, your 1.5 inch fuel fill hose, your vent line, and also the lines that feed into that fuel tank. You'll need access to that. So what I did was I took my speed square and marked it just as you see there. And I did this obviously before putting this piece in place. And this just basically allows me to capture where this is supposed to be in relation to the fittings underneath. So we'll set it like that. And then what I'll do is I'll take my marker and then mark along these little edges in here. Just like that. Alright. And you can see, voila. And we'll put this back in place where it's supposed to go. Make sure it's lined up good. Yeah, so I think that is good. And what I'll do, just because I don't want to make any mistakes here, is I'm going to take some quick measurements from here to here, and then same thing from here to here, the left to right side, just to make sure that it looks just like it's supposed to be cut out. Well, you know, once you cut this piece, this is like $150 sheet, so you want to make sure, if you can do some double checks with your measurement, you're going to be in good shape. So yeah, I'll go ahead and measure this real fast, make sure that looks good below, beneath the floor. Alright, so you can see here, I got 4 inches from this, and this will be from the edge, I just got to remember that. And then this side, it'll be 11 inches to center over here, and 13 inches from here to here, and that's our center line. So let's go ahead, I'll go ahead and move this board back a little bit, and then take some quick measurements without the flooring here, just to make sure before we cut it that everything is spot on. Okay, so obviously I can't do it because I got one hand here and one hand holding the camera, but I took some measurements while holding super still, and that's what our access is going to look like underneath. So that's good. We can remove the fuel sender as needed. We can get the clamps tightened on the 5/8 vent line, 1.5" fuel fill hose, and also the line that goes into the carburetor. So everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and remove the flooring, the part that goes specifically over the fuel tank, and we'll cut that hole out and prep it for this little ring here. This is the original one that came with it, and functionally it looks good. No issues here, so we're definitely going to reuse it. Probably clean some of the residual dirt here. It's got a seal along the edge. Looks pretty good. So yeah, we'll clean it up. It's hard plastic. So yeah, anyway. Okay. You can see we've made the cut. Went and beveled off some of these edges here too, because we're going to need to wrap Kevlar around it. But you can see here, we've got plenty of room to get to the sender if needed. 5/8, 1/2 inch fuel. And this little guy, I'm not really sure what the diameter is, but it'll be covered up just like that if you need to get to it. Pop the little top off, and voila. And let's see, yeah, we've got room to get the fill line in there, so I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so what we're going to do next is, you see where these lines are, I'm going to snap those same lines underneath, and I'm actually going to seal with epoxy resin under here. As you can imagine, water will have the ability to flow from the ski locker into here and hopefully out through the bilge area, but this area has the opportunity to gather moisture, and then as the liquid turns into a gas, it'll kind of rise up and then absorb into the bottom side of this wood, possibly creating some rot from underneath, and not really interested in having that. So what I will do in the areas where I deem necessary is I'm going to go ahead and seal it. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and take some epoxy resin. We'll flip this board over outside the boat and apply the epoxy resin, let it dry, and then we'll go ahead and apply this. So that's going to be our next step, and then from there, once it dries, we'll start working on throwing some screws in here and getting this thing fastened permanently. Okay, so we'll conclude the video at this point. The epoxy is currently drying underneath the bottom side of the plywood. We'll let that do its thing, and then we'll go ahead and start the video off afterwards once it dries. So I hope you liked the episode. As always, hit that subscribe button, leave me some comments if you got some questions, and we'll catch you up on the next episode. Have a good one.